Trophy of college golf.
Tonight, Colonial Country Club, in conjunction with Konica Minolta, the Golf Coaches Association of America, and Friends of Golf, will recognize the top collegiate in all of golf. It's the 2017 Ben Hogan Award Banquet, and we welcome you to the show.
You know, tonight's award, though, is about more than just awarding the Ben Hogan Trophy. It's more than the crystal that one of the winners will walk away from the Friends of Golf. And to give us some insight into the impact of this award, if you would please welcome my friend Bob Lansford with Colonial Charitable Foundation. Bob?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Lansford, and I chair the Colonial Charitable Foundation. I also want to welcome you here tonight. I want to give a special thank you to our sponsors. Our major sponsor was Konica Minolta. Terry, thank you guys back over there. Our scholarship sponsors, Southwest Bank trustee, the Virginia Hobbs Trust, David Booker. We also have Adelaide and Brooks Griffin, Mrs. Hobbs' niece and nephew. We welcome you. Marty Leonard, excuse me. Marty Leonard, thank you, Marty. And Rick and Linda Hubble, thank you. I'm pleased to report that with your support, we make contributions to the various college golf scholarship programs totaling $85,000. To date, since 2002, we will have exceeded $600,000 in total scholarships. We will contribute $32,000 to the Winners Golf Scholarship Program and $16,000 to each of the two finalists. We'll also make a $3,000 golf scholarship program to our contribution to each of the 7 semifinalists. The foundation is a 501c3 foundation, and we do accept contributions, so if you're inclined to make a gift to golf scholarship program, we would welcome that. Again, thank you for your attendance.
Thank you, Bob. Bob mentioned the relationship with Konica Minolta there, long respected, of course, in the golf world. This year we welcome him back as our presenting sponsor of the Hogan Award, a true partnership that has been achieved here over the last couple of years. And why don't we take a look at that relationship right now?
Since its inception in 2003, the Konica Minolta BizHub Swing Vision camera has been a fixture on CBS Sports Golf. For over a decade, it has captured some of the most memorable moments forever etched into the rich history of the PGA Tour. Through the tapestry of time, Ben Hogan Award recipients have made their way into the homes of golf fans everywhere, courtesy of the sensational Super Slow-Mo camera. Ricky Fowler, Bill Haas, Ryan Moore, Patrick Rogers, Kyle Stanley, and defending Dean and DeLuca champion at Colonial Country Club, Chris Kirk, have all seen their best moments through the lens of the Konica Minolta BizHub Swing Vision camera. The future is bright, not only for upcoming Ben Hogan Award winners, but also for the most technically advanced camera on tour, documenting their greatest moments in golf.
Thank you to our friends at Konica Minolta. Thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for your partnership. You know, Lance Barrow first worked for CBS Sports here at Colonial Country Club over 40 years ago. He doesn't want you to know that. It's been that long. But his passion for the game has never waned. His role has changed at CBS, obviously, but his passion has never waned. This tournament and this award, you know, always have a special place in his heart. He'll talk about that. Over a dozen Emmys later, the young man who walked up and asked for a job, those 40-plus years ago, now controls everything that we see when it comes to golf and the NFL on CBS. If you would, please welcome our good friend, Lance Barrow. This is one of the few times when someone gets to tell Lance what to do. Grab the microphone, Lance. Here
All
we
right,
go.
thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
The other day I was here, the mic didn't work, but now I'm glad it works. Hello, everyone. Hunter, sorry you and Candy had to be here tonight, but it's great to have y'all here. Bo Hasler said, I'm looking forward to hearing you speak. I go, well, I don't know, Bo. We'll see. You can tell me later.
This is one of those nights. Well, you know what we ought to do? We ought to start with you telling the story about how you, many people in this room know the story of how you came to work for CBS, but how it happened.
Well, when I was a kid, growing up on a dairy farm, believe it or not, right by DFW Airport before it was built in Colleyville, I used to read a story about a Texan named Terry Jastrow, who's this great producer from ABC Sports. And so I thought, like every kid when you're in high school, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to produce sports television. So my senior year of high school, I came out to Colonial right down here on Saturday morning, like anybody would when you're 17, 18 years old, and asked ABC Sports if I could work for him. And he looked at me and he said, I know it is funny. This guy looked at me and said, you ever worked for us, Lance? And I was about to graduate from Fort Worth Christian High School, and you know your mom always tells you to tell the truth. And I thought for a minute, what should I say to him? And I said, yep, I worked for you guys before. And he said, you ever done lower third graphics? Now I'm about to go to Abilene Christian to play athletics at Abilene Christian. You know, you have to sign that sheet before you go to Abilene Christian. You're going to live the Christian life. You're going to live that Church of Christ life. No girls in the dorm, no drinking, and no instrumental music at church. And, and you know, your grandmother always says to you, tell the truth. If not, when they find out, it's going to be worse. And I thought that for a minute with my grandmother's voice going through my head. And I said, yep, I done lower third graphics. So he let me work, believe it or not. And afterwards, he said, you did a great job. Anytime you want to work for us, give us a call. I went off to college, worked for ABC Sports when I could. Believe it or not, and I won't go into that story, but I caddied 2 summers on the PGA Tour for a golfer named Jim Simons, who almost won the U.S. Open as an amateur at Marion. And my junior year of college, I was working at the Byron Nelson for ABC Sports, and Jim Eagle, who is a great member and a great resident of Fort Worth, our dads grew up together. He said to me, hey, CBS is looking for people next week at Colonial to work. You should go by and see if they need anybody. So Monday morning, I come out right where we still park on Mockingbird Lane. And there was a gentleman, Chuck Will, who was Frank Chikinian, the gentleman who created Golf TV at CBS, his right-hand guy. And he was sunning himself. I found out later he was hungover. He's trying to get the alcohol out of his system. He never looked at me. He shook my hand and said, come back Thursday and I'll give you something to do. I walked into the office and he said, hey, kid, I'm telling you what I'm going to do for you. It's your lucky day. The guy that works for Pat Summerall is not here. He's a Canadian. He's getting ready for the Olympics in Montreal for the CBC. And I'm going to put you on the tower with Pat Summerall. This was 1976, junior at Abilene Christian University. He said, the reason I'm going to do this, Pat's a Southerner, you're a Southerner. Pat played football, and I hear you play football now in college, and you're a big guy, and the wind blows really hard here in Fort Worth. You'll keep the 18th tower from blowing away. So that's what started my career. I went up on the 18th tower. I was scared to death. I felt like, you know, being an Abilene Christian grad in Fort Worth Christian, I felt like David did when Goliath showed up. When Pat Summerall walked up on that tower, I went, holy smokes, I just didn't have any smooth stones and a slingshot with me. And I looked at him, and, you know, his old partner, Tom Brookshire, used to say, if somebody was going to tell me I'm dying, I'd want Pat to tell me I'm dying, because it's going to come out better out of his voice than anybody else's. So I said, Mr. Summerall, I'm Lance Barrow, and I'm going to work for you. anything you want to tell me, anything you want me to do for you this weekend. And in that Pat Summerall voice, he said, don't get excited. Don't call me Mr. Summerall. Hand me a beer out of that cooler. And that was it, and that was started my career. I went everywhere Pat Summerall would go for 6 years. It wasn't until about a year ago at Abilene Christian I was speaking to our community leaders. Charlie Cootie was there in the audience. I remember flying back with Charlie Cootie, Lee Trevino, Don January, the great Frank Gleber, who we lost too soon, CBS voice of the Dallas Cowboys. And I would go back to my dorm room at Abilene Christian after doing the Masters Colonial Super Bowl.
Wow.
And that's what started my career.
Wow. And that's amazing.
Thank you.
And so this week, though, when you come back, it started here. This week still holds a very special place in your heart, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
This place.
This is home.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of you I know, a lot of you I've never met, I've never seen, but, you know, it's kind of like, I always say it's like coming to a family reunion every year. The only difference is you like coming to this family reunion, unlike most family reunions, and there's not some crazy aunt or uncle that's bothering you about something. And I can't wait. This is, you know, it's kind of like every April. I've been at the Masters since 1977. I had produced the Masters since 1997. Only the second person in the history of TV who's ever done that. Frank Chikinian did the first to 96, and then I took over for the great man. But this week is the same thing. I cannot wait to get here. It takes a long time to get to this day.
Yes.
And it will be sad Sunday night when it's over, and Monday morning I get on a plane and go to Ohio to do the memorial. Yeah. Because this is home. And you feel like if you don't, I mean, we're going to do a great job at CBS. We're the #1 golf network in the world. Not because I say it, because people around the world say it. The #1 most watched network in America. And, but I feel like I would let down friends and family if we didn't even go to the next level. And what's wonderful, I got some of the guys on our crew here, Jay and Jimmy and Scott and Brian. Who's, by the way, Scott Martin is an Illinois grad. He's, you know, who he's pulling for tonight.
Yeah.
Or so he claims he went to Illinois. I don't know. But, you know, and everybody on the crew knows this is home.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people at this club who have become dear friends, not only myself, but our crew. And, you know, like tonight, this is a great honor. I looked at the list of people who spoke here. You know, Pat Summerall was the first. You know, you had the great Bruce Devlin one year. You know, Bruce Litsky, on and on, Ken Venturi, Jim Nance, and I figured looking at the list tonight, things are going so well with Konica Minolta and the Ben Hogan Award, they didn't really give a crap who spoke tonight. So, but it is an unbelievable week to be here.
Well, in 40 plus years now, you've seen a lot. You've done a lot, and we'll get into some of those events. But how has golf changed? How have golfers changed? How have the players changed?
Well, the players hadn't really changed. They're better. I mean, plain and simple. The equipment's better. The golf course is better. They're better. I mean, they're in great shape. I mean, look at the guys that's here tonight. Look at the guys that you'll see this week. I mean, it's more than just going out and playing golf. Now it's a lot of things. They have their teams, things like that.
Are you saying Bruce Devlin wasn't in great shape?
No, Bruce Devlin still is in great shape, the great man. I mean, that's just genes. That has nothing to do with working out or anything. But, you know, it's just athletes. They're athletes now where maybe down the line people might have claimed they weren't. You know, golf is a hard sport. You're out there by yourself with your caddy, and no one's really there to help you. It's not like a team that can pick you up if something goes poorly. And that's what we try to show at CBS. From our standpoint, TV, it's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. You know, we had a couple trucks. Now we have 9 trucks that will be here, parked on Mockingbird Lane. By 8:30 Sunday, they will be torn down, and they're heading to Ohio on top of our own power, our own edit facility, our own caterers. We're like a city in itself when we show up. You know, I always say we're like the circus. We put up the big tent, we tear it down. Some people call us carnies. I like circus people. It sounds a little more high class.
All the events you've done Super Bowls, you've touched them all. What's your single greatest moment that you've been a part of?
You know, that's a tough question. I did the only Daytona 500 that Dale Earnhardt won, and then sadly, a few years later, he lost his life on that track. The Olympics, you know, thinking about growing up in Colleyville and Fort Worth here, and when they doing the opening ceremony in Albertville, France, you know, your eyes start watering.
Yeah.
You know, thinking that I'd never go to the Masters. I remember my second ever event at CBS was the very first memorial tournament in Ohio, and they honored Bobby Jones. And I went up to Clifford Roberts that day, the only time I met Clifford Roberts. And I said, Mr. Roberts, I hope I have a chance one day to go to the Masters. And he said, son, I hope you do. Good luck to you. And then a few months later, he had passed away. And, you know, doing Super Bowl 50, where we won an Emmy for at CBS Sports, you know, Peyton Manning, his last game as a professional, and, you know, national championships, and on and on and on. But I wasn't the producer. I was sitting next to the great Frank Chikinian, whose nickname was the Ayatollah. I see my friends Barry and John and the little pro. They knew the great man. He hung out at Bel Air a lot. And he loved the nickname as the Ayatollah. So you knew what kind of guy he was. And I sat next to him for 12 years. And the 86 Masters, when Jack Nicklaus won his 6th green jacket, was the greatest event I have ever been a part of. You know, golf is the hardest sport to do on TV. A lot of people look at me like, seriously, Lance, that's the hardest sport to do? Because some of the best naps I get Sunday afternoon is watching your golf on CBS. And I go, well, as long as you have CBS on, I don't really care what you're doing. But other than that, you think about it. Football, basketball, when we go to commercial, they stop playing. And there's a field. And they don't start playing again until we come back. Where golf, you have 18 stages. You have more than one ball. Nobody has numbers on their backs. There's no boundaries. And, you know, I can't really look at John Rahm this week on the 18th hole when he's about to win this tournament and have Jim Nance yell down to him, hey, John, or Peter Costas, who's a great buddy of his out at Whisper Rock in Arizona, hey, John, don't putt. We're about 40 seconds back from commercial. And I will tell you, as much as I love this place, this is the hardest place to do golf, because you putt out and you take 2 steps, you're on your tee, ready to hit your tee shot. And I remember Frank Chikinian once said in an interview, I was sitting in his office, and he said, they asked him, why are you guys so much better than everybody? He said, and I'm thinking, okay, this is how you learn from Alexander Graham Bell and how to work the telephone, because of Frank Chikinian. He goes, we know when to go to commercial. I went, that's it? That's the meaning, and that's right. You have to know how long somebody takes to play, how long it takes to walk from green to tee. All this sort of stuff goes in because we can't ask them to stop. And so 86 Masters, I'm sitting next to Frank. Frank produced, directed. My job is to talk to New York, get all our commercials in, and to replay all the golf shots that doesn't get on live. So Jack Nicklaus is an hour in front of the leaders. The last group was Greg Norman, Nick Price, who had just shot 63 on Saturday to set the course record. In front of them was Seve Ballesteros and Tom Kite. So Jack birdies the 8th hole. And I'm sitting about as close as Brian and I are together in this truck. And I go, Jack, Frank, Jack just birdied 8. And in the deep 5'6" frame of Frank Chikinian, the Ayatollah, goes, don't want it. I said, okay. So Jack birdies 9. And I say, hey, Frank, Jack just birdied 9. Do you want it? He called me Buddha for some reason. I don't know why he did that. But he did. If you could figure it out, let me know. I'd love to know that. All these years. And he said, Buddha, I don't want Jack Nicklaus. He's screaming at me. I'm sitting right next to him. I don't want Jack Nicklaus. And remember, I went to Abilene Christian. And there was words coming out of his mouth that we didn't have a class at Abilene Christian for. And there was a lot of words. I didn't know what it meant. And it was perfect grammar, too, out of Frank Shakinian's voice. So we went on, drama kid. So Jack birdies 10. And I go, hey, Frank, Jack just birdied 10. Buddha for the last time. And he's not screaming at the top of his voice with all these kind of words I didn't know about. But for the last time, Buddha, I don't want to hear about Jack Nicklaus. I'm going to send you to drama school where you understand what drama's all about. For the last time, Buddha, do you understand me? I thought I taught you better. Jack Nicklaus means nothing in this golf tournament. Jack birdies 11. And I tap Frank on the leg. And I say, hey, Frank, I know Jack Nicklaus means nothing in this golf tournament, but he just birdied 11. And he looked at me and said, cue it up, Buddha, let's get it on the air. So that's still to this day the greatest of greatest. You think about the calls, Ben Wright, you know, there's life in the old bear after all, after he eagled the 15th hole, and then Sebi snap hooks it in the water at 15. Sebi snapped hooked it. The European contingent is crumbling under the bear attack. Jim Nance, as a 26-year-old, 16th hole, had that great call. Make no doubt about it, the bear has come out of hibernation. And on and on and on. And, you know, I never seen Frank Shakinian ever root for anybody. But if you look at it on the 18th hole, when Jack hit that long putt and it stopped on the edge, Shakinian was actually standing up in the truck, willing that ball to go in. And then to see Jack and Jackie walk off arm in arm. I mean, to this day, and I've been very blessed to do some unbelievable events, but that one will always be number one.
Yeah, that's great. Is there any event that you've never done that you wish you would have?
No, I've done Olympics, I've done Super Bowls, I've done Masters, I've done Daytona, car racing, Texas Motor Speedway when it first started. I barely know where gas goes in a car, but somehow I won Emmys for doing auto racing. Basketball championships, you know, maybe the Kentucky Derby, but I don't know much about horse racing, and you got to get up too early to watch them train. So, no, the good Lord's been very great to me, and I appreciate that.
Got to shift gears on you real quick because there's a lot of folks in this room who want to know about the latest addition to CBS Sports, Tony Romo, the Cowboy quarterback.
Oh, he's not playing anymore?
Yeah, no, that's right. Tell us about this and how you see this unfolding. Going to be paired with Jim Nance, obviously.
I think it's going to be great. Tony Romo's been on our radar for a long time. And there's a few other announcers at other networks who's also spoke very highly of Tony. He has a lot of energy, big personality, wants to do it. He's the first guy in the history of any sport who's gone right from the field to the booth as the number one announcer. Even John Madden didn't do that. He was doing other games for about 2 or 3 years. He has a great partner in Jim Nance, the best in the business. I think he will do great. Only time will tell. You know, a lot of athletes think they can do TV because they talk well and they have a good personality until I'm talking to them in their ear, Jim Nance is talking to them in the ear, and they have to cut down what they usually say in 2 minutes to about 5 seconds. You know, like I always said, John Madden, there probably will never be another John Madden in our lifetime. There will never be another David Faraday in our lifetime. Because John Madden can make Gatorade buckets seem interesting by doing the telestrator. And David Faraday, there was somehow, maybe because of the accent, could get it across differently than most people. Gary McCord is the same way. But Tony will get that chance. I was at a function that made a lot of news today, shockingly, that Romo was DJing last night. Matt and Lisa Rose, the chairman of Burlington Northern, had myself and Tony Romo and Jordan, Ezekiel Elliott. Coach Patterson was there performing and trying to raise money for a battered women's house. And Romo was the DJ. And it was all over news this morning, national news, of Tony Romo DJing, and it was amazing to see his personality in a setting that wasn't football. So I think we have the next John Madden on our hands. I really do. Of course, a lot of people are going to hate him because he was a Cowboy quarterback already.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are going to like him because he's that way, and I think he will do great. And obviously, having the great Jim Nantz sitting next to him will be something. And I will give you a little note. This weekend, for the first time ever, he will be in the announce booth at 18 for a few moments, and it will be the first time that he will have the CBS Sports blazer on, and he will be introduced as our newest edition of CBS Sports right here at Colonial.
All right.
Please do not tweet that or anything. It's supposed to be a surprise. It will be Tony Romo this Sunday, last Sunday, or yesterday we had the 43rd President of the United States. So we both have royalty both Sundays.
That's right.
Up there.
That's awesome. Speaking of football, you have a huge helmet collection. I don't know if folks know this. That's the one thing you do, right? You collect helmets?
That's the only thing I do is collect football
That's your hobby?
Well, I don't know if it's my hobby. I just sent me a helmet from Texas A&M, and then I've gotten obsessed by it. I hate asking people for anything, but if you from a school that I haven't been to or have a helmet from, I'll ask you tonight. Like I said, we're parked at 15. Just bring it by. I'd love to have some of those new Illinois helmets. I got a few of them from the John Deere Classic, but I need a few more that you guys are wearing. And Stanford, I need a few of those black ones and that you guys have. Harbaugh says he's at Michigan. I can't get them from him anymore. And so yeah, I got a few. Got about 450 football helmets in my house.
In the den? Where?
Well, it's upstairs in our game room, and like my daughter said, we used to have windows in that room. Now we have bookshelves everywhere, and so one of my prized possessions, Gary Patterson, the coach at TCU, gave me a couple years ago after the Rose Bowl with the frog with the rose in his mouth. Yeah. That's one of my prized possessions.
That's a good one. That's a good one. We'll close out with this, Lance. I read a quote, and I want to read it here. Two things to close out with. I read a quote where you said you missed a relative's wedding one time because it was on a Masters weekend. Is that true?
Probably, yes. I missed a lot of things. I missed my daughter's birth because I was at Pebble Beach after Super Bowl. She came early, so it was her fault. But, at 30 years of age, she's never let me forget that.
The quote that I read, though, said that you missed that same relative's wedding, their second wedding, again because it was on a Masters weekend.
Yes, I believe that's true also. Yeah. And technically, I wasn't invited to the third.
Okay.
So.
Gotcha. Let's leave with this. If we were all given the luxury, and this is a tough one, if you were all given the luxury of writing your legacy, what would your legacy be?
Wow, I just had my physical this morning. Do you know something from Dr. Marcus? He said everything was okay. He said my cholesterol was like 700. He thought that was pretty good. I think my legacy would be I'm a good friend. Yeah. I care about people. What I do is one big recess. And it really is. I always joke with our crew that no one's really going to get hurt this Saturday or Sunday, no matter what. People didn't need to tell me for 2.5 years that you're doing Super Bowl 50, and that's really a big game. I think I figured that out somewhere along the line. I just, good friend, good Christian man, someone who tried really hard to give back to people. One of the great compliments, one of my assistants came in one day at the Masters, closed the door in my office, stood right next to my desk, and pointed at me and said, "You know what your biggest problem is?" And I said, "I'm glad you figured it out, because now I can work on that and work on all my other problems." He said, "You can't say no to people." And I told him that was one of the great compliments I ever got. I guess just a good friend, a good family man. Someone who cares about where he's from, someone who cares about where he came from. TV is TV. That's just what I do for a living. It's not who I am. And, You know, I brag about Fort Worth. You know, Chuck Shears sitting right over here always jokes. He sends me a text every weekend. Well, it took you 28 minutes for you guys to mention Fort Worth, Colonial, Abilene Christian, da-da-da-da-da. You know, I just feel like you don't have a lot of time to brag about things in front of a lot of people, and I always think it's important. And so that would be my legacy, just that I was a good friend and someone who cared about people.
We brag about you. Glad you're part of the family. Lance Barrow, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
That was awesome. One of the good guys in all the world right there, folks. There's no question about that. And if you don't mind, Lance, don't leave. Oh, you're too quick, man. I thought you were a lineman. Come on up here. We got a special gift for you. Every year we give our very special guests these. Dr. Schmuck has these made for you, a little Ben Hogan tribute for you, and thank you very much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Wally.
They'll have to slide a few helmets over, find a spot for that on the wall, if you don't mind, and hang it up. At this time, I'd like to bring in another friend of ours. The Ben Hogan Award, of course, began at Bel Air Country Club. We all know that, and thanks to the Friends of Golf and those folks, we are proud of that association and have been for years. If you would, please join us in welcoming a friend of ours who's representing FOG, Mr. John Hoffman. John.
If all of you would look at your program, you would notice that I was supposed to be up before our guest of honor, but I've been usurped again. It's truly great to be back in Fort Worth at Colonial Country Club. Thank you to the Colonial Foundation Board, co-chaired by Doctors Barnes and Schmuck, for including FOG tonight again. Congratulations to a friend, I guess a great friend, someone that we love having at Bel Air Country Club as much as you love having them here at Colonial. And we don't get them enough, but we do get them 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a year, and everyone loves it when they're there. And I did make a contribution to that helmet collection, Lance Barrow. Occidental College, where Jack Kemp was a quarterback, Jim Mora was a teammate, and my daughter is an athletic director, is somewhere on that wall there. And so I'm glad that I could make some sort of small contribution for all you've done. And it might take 28 minutes for Colonial Country Club to come on the air. We're at about 32 or 34 for Bel Air, whether it's Jim Nance or Lance or whatever. We make it more than we should, and we love it every time you talk about us, so thank you for that. Thanks to Conica Minolta and Rick Taylor, who's not here tonight, but for their generous support of this event. They're also our main sponsor of FOG every year when we hold our tournament, normally in April. And finally, congrats to our 3 finalists, Dylan, Maverick, and Wyndham. By the way, whatever happened to Bill, John, and Barry? Or Tom, Dick, and Harry? I'm positive tonight that there's never been an award ceremony where Maverick, Dylan, and Wyndham were the 3 finalists, but they're all worthy, and we look forward to whatever the announcement's going to be in a few minutes. FOG truly cherishes its partnership with the Colonial Foundation and the Golf Coaches Association in presenting this prestigious award. Friends of Golf continues to flourish. On April 24th, we held our annual tournament at Bel Air Country Club, and we honored world #1 Dustin Johnson. It was a sellout with 290 golfers. Don't ask me how we did that and got through. Thank God it was in April instead of February this year. And more than 350 people for the awards dinner. Our founder, the little pro Eddie Merrins, is here with us tonight as he approaches his 85th birthday. He's over there. If he stands up, you might not see him, but He is a true treasure who continues to attract PGA professionals as honorees who understand and support FOGS, our mission, which is to support junior golfers who have financial hardships or some challenges. We try to get involved with those people from youngsters, 5, 6, 7 years old, high school, through the continuing all the way through college. And we continue to try to support on an ongoing basis, to the point over the last 38 years, we have now distributed well in excess of $8 million to this worthy cause. Hopefully, all of us here tonight recognize what the great game of golf has done for us in our life's mission. Our job is to identify, financially support, and encourage those that want and need access to all that golf has to offer. Thank you for being here tonight to continue that quest. Thank you.
Thank you, John. As we move forward in our program and get closer to meeting our 3 finalists, think back to the list of previous winners of the Ben Hogan Award presented by Konica Minolta, and it reads like a who's who in the world of golf, does it not? And before we meet the 3 finalists today, let's look back at the previous winners that these young men will all follow.
Impact. On its winners, on college golf programs, on Fort Worth. Recognized as the Heisman Trophy of college golf, the Ben Hogan Award is issued annually to the outstanding male amateur and collegiate golfer of the year by Colonial Country Club, the Friends of Golf, and the Golf Coaches Association of America. In addition to being the most prestigious award given to a collegiate amateur golfer, its founding in 1990 by Tom Harmon, a 1940 Heisman Trophy winner at Michigan and one of Mr. Hogan's very good friends, lends the award its nickname,
the Heisman Trophy of college golf. And it couldn't be better portrayed than by the 2 individuals pictured in this window.
First issued in 1990 at Bel Air Country Club in Los Angeles, California by Pro Emeritus Eddie Mehrens and Friends of Golf, the Ben Hogan Trophy was brought to Mr. Hogan's boyhood hometown of Fort Worth, Texas, and Colonial Country Club, the site of 5 of his 64 PGA Tour wins in 2002. Since that time, with the addition of the Hogan Bronze, the Ben Hogan Award has only grown in prestige. Recipients include some of the brightest stars of the PGA Tour, including PGA winners Ricky Fowler, Bill Haas, Ryan Moore, Hunter Mahan, Chris Kirk, John Rahm, Matt Every, Kyle Stanley, and Nick Taylor. Winners have represented the United States at numerous Ryder Cups and President's Cups. Collectively, they've won more than 30 PGA tournaments, including Chris Kirk's victory at Colonial in 2015, as well as a FedEx Cup championship. Each year, the selection committee of notable leaders in college, amateur, and professional golf pares down its initial watch list to 10 semifinalists in April and ultimately selects its 3 finalists in May. The finalists attend a black tie dinner during the week of the PGA Tour's annual tournament stop at Colonial, where the winner's name. In addition to claiming the Bronze Ben Hogan Award and Crystal Ben Hogan Trophy, he also receives the first invitation into the following year's tournament, a coveted prize for young up-and-coming stars. The bond made between the finalists and Fort Worth during their stay is unique, it is real, and it is lasting. In addition, the universities of the awards winner, finalists, and semifinalists receive substantial gifts. Over $500,000 in scholarships to men's golf programs has been given out since 2002 to more than 24 schools. In 2016 alone, over $100,000 was awarded in the form of scholarships and charitable contributions. The history of golf in Fort Worth is long and it is storied, and it's a story that cannot be told without the Ben Hogan Award. Impact. On its winners, on college golf programs, on Fort Worth.
Our most recent winner is with us here tonight.
Wyndham Clark from Oregon.
John Rahm is with us. We're going to hold that video for 1 second. John Rahm is with us. John, if you would stand up and just kind of wave, we're going to hear from John or see him a little bit later on as our presentation. Back-to-back winner. Beside him is Dr. Wally Schmuck, who's got a presentation for him as well and one of our Ben Hogan Award money clips. Thanks for being here tonight, John. We do appreciate it. An opportunity now. You've read about our three finalists. You know about their golf stats. But we get to meet them personally tonight. And we get to hear from our first one. Wyndham Clark, if you'll make your way up, check out the video. We'll find out a little bit more about Wyndham Clark.
Wyndham Clark from Oregon, a senior from Denver, Colorado. Wyndham Clark is the first Oregon finalist in school history and the 13th player honored from the Pac-12 Conference since 2012. Clark has won 3 college tournaments this season, including the Pac-12 Conference Championship, an event that featured 5 Hogan Award semifinalists. He is currently ranked number 1 in both the Golf Stat and Golf Week Sagarin ratings. Oregon's first conference medalist since 1978, led the Ducks to their first outright conference title since 1959. In addition to his 3 wins, which also included the Arizona Intercollegiate and Wyoming Desert Intercollegiate, Clark has 3 runner-up finishes and is placed inside the top 15 in all 11 events. During the 2016-2017 season, he owns a 69.45 stroke average over 31 rounds. 18 of his rounds have been scores in the 60s. On the amateur circuit, Clark advanced to the round of 32 of the 2016 U.S. Amateur after tying for 6th in the stroke play portion of the event. In addition, he shared 20th place at last summer's Western Amateur. In March, the native of Denver, Colorado, earned status on the 2017 McKenzie Tour by placing among the top 10 at the Canada-based Tours qualifying tournament. From Oregon, Wyndham Clark.
How you doing? Feeling good about it?
Yeah, really good.
Did you have a good day here with us?
Yeah, really good.
Good. I'm going to get you to hold that mic a little closer to you. Wyndham, I hear you're a pretty good ping pong player.
Who told you that?
I got some inside scoop. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah, are you? Yeah. How good are you?
I'm trying to be a 2-time Olympian.
A 2-time Olympian. How about that? Have you got the first one done yet?
No, well, I'm saying 2 sport.
Okay,
golf
2 sport.
And,
I was
golf and ping pong.
going to say, I thought maybe you were going to the Olympics twice for
Well,
ping
hopefully
pong.
for
Yeah,
ping pong.
exactly. But you were a basketball guy too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you love college basketball, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite sports.
Yeah, and you played in high school.
I did.
Was there a point where you had to decide between the two, golf and basketball, or was it ever like that?
Yeah, no. When I realized I was white and 6 feet,
Yeah.
I was kind of going against the tide, so that's when I decided I'd play golf, and I haven't looked back since.
Yeah, it's worked out pretty good, hasn't it?
Yeah.
You've had a great year. What folks may not realize is you transferred to Oregon, and it's been great for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has. I didn't know what to expect, and it was a tough decision, but after this long year, it's been an awesome experience, and it couldn't have gone better for me.
You get to play for Coach Casey Martin out there, and tell us about Casey. We all know Casey obviously and his story.
Yeah.
But what's it like playing for him?
He's been awesome for me. He's been a true inspiration, and I really wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. And I wish he was here that he could share this with us. But he's had some issues with his legs, so he couldn't come. But Casey's truly an inspiration. We both have gone through a lot of adversity, and I feed off of that from him. And when I've gone through tough things, he's been there. Not only this year, but in years past, he's sent me texts and called me multiple times and just saying he's there for me and thinking of me. And so that's just a testament of how great of a man he is. And then on the course, he's such a great player. He still beats all of us, day in and day out. So I learned from him in that standpoint too. So he's really helped me both on and off the golf course.
You mentioned adversity. You needed a change of pace. You needed a change of scenery when you left Oklahoma State. You got a new swing coach. You got new scenery. You got a kind of a new lease on life too, didn't you?
Yeah, I really changed everything in my life. It was definitely a dark time for me this time last year. I didn't know what I was going to do, what school I was going to go to, and I talked to Casey, and after I changed schools, I changed coaches, as you said, and changed sceneries and school colors, everything, and new friends. So I changed a lot of things, but it definitely was a decision that it's probably the best decision of my life. So
Yeah, let's talk about that adversity a little bit. You lost your mom. Your mom had battled cancer for several years. It came back, right? And you lost her, and that kind of changed your whole outlook, did it not?
yeah.
You were at Oklahoma State, by the way.
Yeah, I was at Oklahoma State, and that was the toughest year of my life for sure. I ended up taking a medical red shirt, and then about 6 months after that, my mom passed, and that really changed my life. You know, I was a mama's boy and really close with her, and when she passed, it felt like, something was taken away from me.
Yeah.
And it really changed my perspective on golf. It wasn't as big as it used to be, and I put too much emphasis on it when I was younger, and it was too important to me. And after losing her, that put things into perspective. And she always told me that she wanted me to play big and play for something greater than myself. And I like to think I've done that, and I think about her all the time, and she's definitely someone I play for.
When she was battling, you wanted to be with her. And you were a lot. You were able to be with her a lot. That medical red shirt obviously helped. But she also wanted you to play golf. She also wanted you back out there, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. It was, when I got the call from my dad, I'll never remember this. It was definitely one of the worst calls I've ever gotten. But I was playing well at the Western Am, and it was after around 1 or 2, and my dad called me and was in tears. And so other family members called me and said, I think you got to come home. Mom's getting pretty close. And it's tough because I obviously wanted to play, and she wanted me to play. And if she had any say in it, she would have said, stay there and keep playing. But it's just a golf, it's just a game.
Right.
So I went home, and as I spent my last few days with her, she kept saying that she really wanted me to go to the USAM and play. And, I thought there's no way I would be able to play after my mom, was getting close to passing, and later on did pass. But she said, I want you to go, and I want you to play big, and go do what you love, and think of me when you're out there. And I went and played, and it was the first time I've ever made the cut. Yeah. And truly is one of the most memorable tournaments I've ever had, just because I played inspired golf, and I felt like I'd honor my mom. And even though I didn't make it too far in the event, it just was, I don't know, it was just so rewarding that I was able to go play and play with that freedom. And I definitely felt like she was my other caddy there walking with me.
That's awesome. And you and your dad are tight. Golf's kind of your thing, right, with your dad?
Yeah, we play every once in a while.
Yeah, just every once in a while, yeah. Tell me what this would mean to you. If you were to walk away with this award tonight, what would it mean to you?
Well, it goes back to my senior year, senior of high school, walking the halls of Oklahoma State at Carson Creek, and they have all these great trophies of past champions and first team All-Americans, and then they have this wall where they have all the trophies, and there's been 5 guys that have won it, and I remember looking at that going, wow, I want to be one of those guys, and that would be a dream. And so it started all the way back in high school thinking about that, and then as my career went on, I didn't have the best college career, and that started to fade, and then as I played well this year, I started getting some notoriety, and then when I made it here as a finalist, it's crazy to look back. It's surreal that I'm even here, and it would mean a lot to me, and I know it would mean a lot to my family, and a lot to my mom as well.
It's been a pretty good year.
Yeah, it has been.
Wyndham Clark, ladies and gentlemen, from Oregon.
Thank you.
Up next, he feels like an old friend. If you would, check out Maverick McNeely now.
Maverick McNeely, Stanford, senior, Portola Valley, California. Maverick McNeely, a Ben Hogan Award finalist in 2015 and 2016, becomes the second 3-time finalist ever, joining Bill Haas, who was that from 2002 to 2004. Including McNeely, just 6 golfers since 2005 have been invited to Colonial Country Club multiple times. The senior currently sits atop the World Amateur Golf Ranking and was the winner of the 2016 Mark H. McCormick Gold Medal as the year's #1 player. He represented the United States at the 2016 World Amateur Team Championship and has been named to Team USA for the 2017 Arnold Palmer Cup. McNeely is ranked 12th in the Scratch Players World Amateur Ranking. The product of Portola Valley, California, is listed 3rd in both the GolfStat and GolfWeek Sagarin College rankings. McNeely carries a 70 stroke average over 26 rounds, with 8 top 20 finishes in 10 events, including 5 top 5s. His fall victory at the Nike Golf Collegiate Invitational at Colonial Country Club was his 11th career win, tying him with Tiger Woods and 2014 Hogan Award winner Patrick Rogers for the most in school history. McNeely is one of 5 players currently ranked among the top 12 in all 4 major college and amateur ranking systems. From Stanford, Maverick McNeely.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I have to ask, are you going to ask the question?
Which one you want me to ask?
Am I going to go pro?
Yeah, that's number 4 on the list. Yes.
Save you another $1.
Okay, that's right. Save it. There you go. Hey, tell me this. Are you thinking about renting an apartment in Fort Worth or anything? I mean, you've been here so much.
I don't know. I don't know if you guys are going to have me back again.
you
But, getting tired of me.
I think we'll make room for you. How about that? How's this year been for you? I mean, obviously you're back here with us again. There was a lot of pressure on you. How's it been?
It's been an incredible learning experience, to be completely honest. I got off to a great start, at least for this college season, winning here at Colonial, which is pretty special. Very cool in that. And then, quite honestly, hadn't played my best golf. I was trying around with some equipment. I was playing with there's pressure. Like, it's something that you just have to acknowledge and learn to deal with. And that's been quite the learning curve for me. But like I said, there's earning years and there's learning years, and this has definitely been a learning year, and it's been fantastic, and I think I'm a way better player for it.
You think about where you stand now as far as the history of Stanford golf is concerned, and it's Patrick Rogers, Tiger Woods, you. I mean, that's pretty good company, isn't it?
It is. Tiger won 11 times in 2 years. Patrick won 11 times in 3 years, and I've got one chance left in my 4th. But, when I signed up with Coach Ray and he took a chance on a scrawny 17-year-old hockey player, I wanted one thing in my college experience, and that was to be the best sign he ever had, to be the best net positive for the team. And my goal freshman year, I wanted to qualify for 2 events, and that would have been a fantastic year for me. And I wanted to be the best teammate. I wanted to be the hardest worker. I wanted to have a great attitude, and that's how I was going to contribute to the Stanford golf legacy. And Coach says Stanford golf is like a slow-moving train. You get on for 4 years, and then you get off, and you have that time to leave your mark. And, thinking back on guys like Tiger and Patrick and Noda and Casey and Coach and all those guys and Tom Watson and guys that have left their mark on Stanford golf, and just to be in the same sentence with them really affirms everything that I started out wanting to do, and it means a ton to me.
Yeah, and as well it should. You mentioned hockey because you played hockey. We talked about this a little bit last year. How did hockey make you better as a golfer? I
don't think hockey made me better. I think hockey allowed me to get better. I played competitive ice hockey 7 months out of the year through my senior year of high school. I absolutely loved it. Played for the San Jose Junior Sharks, and my 3 younger brothers were all better hockey players than I was. But I loved it, and it was a great cross training. I would binge golf 36 a day at least over Christmas and Thanksgiving and spring break, and I'd get to the summer season, I'd be hitting it 15 yards further and 20 degrees further offline, but it was great. And I discovered my putting stroke just in time for the next year's hockey tryouts, but I absolutely loved it, and I think that was a huge reason that I was able to make the gains in my game that I did my first 2 years.
That binge golf you mentioned, that happened with the whole family, didn't it? Everyone?
Oh, yeah. My brothers are the reason I practice so hard. I think my mom is where I get my golf swing. She's a 13 handicap, never practices, hits at 250 on a string. It's unbelievable. Wow. And my dad, he taught me how to love the game of golf. And we played 72 holes in a day together. And, I think our family spent more time together on the golf course than off, which is saying a lot.
There's a story that you ask yourself 5 questions after every round, after every competitive round, I'm assuming. What are those, and what are you trying to?
So, how did today go? I write down every shot I hit because that's really important to me to remember. And one of the things, quick aside, when Tiger Woods came and visited campus 2 years ago, he was able to tell us any shot he had ever hit. We said, Tiger, hit that low stinger you hit on number 4 at Olympic, and he hit it. And that kind of recall is really impressive. So I write down every shot, say, how did today go? What did I do well? What did I do poorly? Why did things go well or poorly? And what can I do better to fix it? And then I ask myself, what did I learn today? And I think that understanding of what makes me play well has allowed me to compete at a high level, even if my swing isn't as great. I just learned a lot about what I need to do to try and play good golf.
And you joked earlier when he sat down, he joked about whether or not you were turning pro because that's the question you get all the time. Yeah. And some of it is because your dad, obviously, if folks don't know, was one of the co-founders of Sun Systems. And there's some talk that you may just go to the business world, or that was talk early on, that you may forego a professional golf career and go into business, because that's something you have talked about before, right?
Yeah, if you'd asked me when I was 5 what I wanted to be when I grew up, I would have said I want to be a business person. If you'd asked me when I was 15, I would have said I want to be a Stanford golfer. And I had never thought that I would have the opportunity or the ability to play professional golf, and that's a recent development in my life. Mm-hmm. But yeah, with the McCormack medal, which is really cool. I'm now staying amateur this summer, which means I get to play the U.S. Open and the British Open, which will be fantastic. And then a goal for me is to make the Walker Cup team at the end of the year and represent my country again. So that's what I want to do. And I think before the Walker Cup, my decision will be pretty clear. But I'm so lucky to have gone to a place like Stanford, where I can get a world-class education and play at the highest level and play for Coach Ray and be a part of that. It's just been great.
So your mindset coming into tonight, third time's a charm?
That's what they say. We'll see.
Go. Maverick McNeely, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, man. Thank you. Great job. Up next, we get a chance to learn a little bit about Dylan Meyer from Illinois. Dylan. A junior from Evansville, Indiana. Dylan Meyer is the first finalist ever from the Illinois program and the first finalist from a Big Ten conference school since 2009. The junior picked up wins in all 3 of his starts in April, capped off by a victory at the Big Ten Conference Championship. In addition to his crowns at the Robert Kepler Intercollegiate and 3M Augusta Invitational, he has also recorded a trio of runner-up finishes, as well as a third-place showing among his 10 top 10s this season. Over 30 collegiate rounds, the Big Ten Player of the Year owns a 70.33 stroke average. Last summer, Meyer was crowned the 2016 Western Amateur Champion after 4 match play victories. In addition, he advanced to the quarterfinals of the 116th U.S. Amateur and posted strong showings at the Sunihana Amateur, where he tied for 4th, and the Players Amateur, where he finished 12th. In 2017, he took 7th at the Jones Cup Invitational and 12th at the Australian Masters of the Amateurs. The native of Evansville, Indiana, is ranked 3rd in the Scratch Players World Amateur Ranking, 5th in the World Amateur Golf Ranking, 8th in the Golf Week Sagarin listings, and 11th in the Golf Stat Ranking. From Illinois, Dylan Meyer. Yeah, this is Dylan Meyer, unless you follow him on Twitter, and it's DJ D Funk. You are a DJ or are a DJ?
Used to be.
Yeah?
I do it a little bit for our team and things like that.
Yeah?
When we want to have a little fun.
Can folks still, rent you as a DJ?
No, not really, not anymore. I don't do that. It's
Yeah.
more about the golf and school.
But you were, at one point, a DJ.
Yes, I was.
Yeah. And what made you decide golf over DJing?
Business is more lucrative on
Yeah.
the side of golf.
Yeah.
There's a lot of better opportunities that way.
I like that. You come from Indiana. You go to Illinois. How did they get you out of the state of Indiana?
Coach made one phone call, actually. It was just, hey, we want you. I wasn't highly recruited out of high school. I didn't play in many national tournaments. I was just kind of the kid and from a rural town, and coach came down and watched me play in one high school event or a couple times, and one thing led to another, and here I am now.
Yeah, and all you guys do is win Big Ten titles, huh?
That seems to be the news.
Yeah, right. What, 3 straight? Is that right?
Yeah, 3 straight.
That's pretty good. When you think about this award and put it in perspective as a junior, and you see these 2 seniors who are here, what does this mean to you? What does this night mean?
It's just exciting to be here, being with these guys like Wyndham and Maverick. Maverick's been here 3 times in a row. These great golfers, not only great golfers, but great people. And, Fort Worth has been great. I mean, this is the first time I've ever been in this area. Everyone's been welcoming. Everyone's been fantastic, and something I want to be here again next year for. But, I'm just excited for the moment and living it up.
Did you take this out of Golf Week as a compliment when they wrote, Clark Kent glasses and Conan O'Brien hairdo camouflage his competitive nature?
You know, I hear worse things. I hear like Harry Potter. I hear Napoleon Dynamite. I mean, I hear it all. You know, you just gotta.
Yeah.
I mean, Coach even calls me Squidward from SpongeBob. I mean,
Really?
I get it from everywhere. I mean, it's just relentless what all these people
I was
say.
thinking more Peter from Spider-Man.
I can take that. You
Yeah,
know,
that-
I love superhero movies and all that. But
Yeah.
you know, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna just keep on competing, and you
Yeah.
know, I'm gonna let them talk whatever they want to talk about.
You've taken 2.5 strokes off your average. How'd you do it?
You know, it's just finally listening to Coach. I was very, very stubborn. I thought I won my first event in college. Thought I arrived on the scene. Afterwards, I mean, I didn't play very well. It was just kind of butting heads with Coach. And finally, I mean, after probably a year, I finally said, just take me in, tell me exactly what I need to do. And, you know, just mentally getting stronger, getting better. You know, my short game went up, I mean, miles and miles better than what it was when I came in. So I would say that being able to allow myself to come into the culture of Illinois golf and what Coach is promoting really helped me.
Dylan, you've admitted the guys hit it further than you.
Yeah.
Yep. Like
Well, I'm 140 pounds. They should hit it further
Yeah,
than
right.
me.
Yet you end up beating them.
Yeah, that's the short game portion of it. You know, I mean, there's guys on tour like Zach Johnson who hit it short, but you know, they get it done. I mean, they short game the death out of the golf course. You know, they know exactly how to attack it. Just strategy, just plot it, and you know, into the round. There they are at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah. Are you a historian at all of golf? I mean, do you know Ben Hogan? Do you know? Have you studied up on him?
Yeah, I know a little bit about Ben Hogan. Yeah.
Wonder what kind of music he would like if you were DJing for him.
I would say he's a Sinatra guy.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, big Sinatra guy. Yeah.
And do you have some of that in your collection if we had to request it?
Oh yeah, I got a few of those.
Good. This guy's gonna be fun, folks. If you, how about Dylan? Give it up for him. Thank you, Dylan. Great job, man. Well, we've heard from our three finalists. Let's get an idea. We heard about perspective a lot from all three of them. Let's put in perspective what this award means to some of our past winners right now. That gives you an idea of what these men are about to, the company they're about to join. And we're getting closer to finding out who our winner is for 2017. At this point, I'd like to bring up the co-chairman of the Ben Hogan Award. If you would, Dr. Bill Barnes, please.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you very much. What a fun day, what a fun evening, and I'm a little sore from laughing tonight from all the jokes and everything, but we're at the time for our presentation, and in the tradition of the Hogan Award, we present the Hogan Trophy from Friends of Golf, and I would like to ask the little pro, Eddie Mearns, to come up here and be part of the presentation. Come on, Eddie. The Hogan Bronze is presented by the player that has won our award the year before. And of course, we have the player that won the award the last 2 years, and it's John Rahm. I'd like to have John come up here. And while John's coming up here, I'm going to have to talk real fast. But he hit the ground running this last year. And in January, he won the first Farmers Open. He was first in the Farmers Open. He was second in the World Golf down in Austin. He came in third in the World Golf in Mexico. He had 6 top 10 finishes. He's fourth in the FedEx Cup, and he's won close to $4 million already this year. And how about that? Let's give him a hand on that. There's only one person in the world that knows who won this award. It's John Flack. It's not like Warren Beatty and the Oscars where there were multiple envelopes, believe me. So I'd like to have John Flack come up here with the envelope. Thank you, John. Is everybody ready? The 2017 Hogan Award recipient is Maverick McNeely from Stanford University. Congratulations, Maverick. Congratulations. The Little Pro will present the Hogan Trophy.
Thank you, and thanks to all you people who've come to support this, and especially to the families, the coaches, and the schools represented by these 3 wonderful finalists. Thanks to all of you. And Maverick, my great pleasure to present you the Ben Hogan Trophy for your university, Stanford University. Thank you.
Be real careful and just put it right down right there. John Rahm will present the Hogan Bronze.
I just want to say, Maverick, I was fortunate enough to hold this trophy for 2 years in my room, and I couldn't imagine it going into better hands, man. Congratulations. Thank you.
Wow. Sorry. I guess the only thing I can really say is thank you so much. I'm just honored and humbled to have won this award tonight. And I guess because John's a professional and he couldn't win it this year, I actually had a chance. So, but with the year he's had, I'm tempted to just give it back to him. It's been unbelievable to see what this guy's done on the golf course. So that was pretty special. And speaking of special, it's really special to have my name on a trophy that has Mr. Hogan's name and has the list of past players and winners that have been a part of this. Most recently, John. He did have to beat me in a putting contest today, so he just can't let me win everything. But and of course, I have to say my ex-teammate Patrick Rogers. He's a special guy to me. I had the privilege of playing 1 year with him, and one of the best role models and players I could have ever been with. So I wouldn't be the player I am today without him. And I also have to say, Dylan and Wyndham, that's one heck of a year, you guys. It's been so fun to play against you guys. Wyndham, it's an unbelievable story, and I'm just so happy for you. Having played with you 2 years ago at Olympia Fields and seeing where you've come now, it's just absolutely incredible. And Dylan, I had the privilege of meeting this guy at the Walker Cup practice session, and I don't think I've ever laughed so hard. He's just a fantastic guy, and he'll hit his hybrid inside my 7-iron any day. So, congratulations to you two guys. It's an incredible year for you. This is my 6th time to Fort Worth. This is my third Hogan dinner. I played in the Nike Collegiate Invitational twice here, which I was fortunate enough to win, and I'm very lucky to say I've won at Colonial, which is something pretty special. Thank you. And I played a hockey tournament here back in my high school days, so that was pretty cool. But what strikes me about Fort Worth is the tradition and history that you guys have here, especially with golf and with Mr. Hogan. And it seems like everyone here has a Hogan story. And I think my personal connection to him, I guess, other than this piece of bronze, is my grandfather, my late grandfather, was the president of AMF, which ran the Hogan iron business for a little while. And he played 18 holes with Ben. And I know he's smiling down today. And it's a special night and a special celebration of golf, and amateur golf is really important and really special to me, and I think it's amazing what Colonial Country Club, the Colonial Charitable Foundation, the Friends of Golf, and Konica Minolta in sponsoring this do for the amateur game and professional game and junior game. As Mr. Hoffman said, there's so much to be learned from the game of golf, and it's fantastic what all of you guys are doing, so thank you so much to Konica Minolta for sponsoring, to John Hoffman and Mr. Eddie Marins, the little pro, for all they do with the Friends of Golf. Thanks to Colonial Country Club for hosting us tonight. I have to say thank you to the Ben Hogan Award Committee for having me back 3 years in a row. I can't believe you're not tired of me, but for presenting me this award, and Dr. Barnes and Dr. Schmuck. It's been great to get to know you guys the last 3 years. And then also a special thank you to Dustin Roberts with the GCAA. He makes this work. He transports 3 college kids from across the world and makes us look presentable. He makes sure we're on time. He books flights, and he's even proctored 3 exams for me in 3 different states. So thanks to Dustin for everything you do. And I keep talking about hockey because I would have introduced myself as a hockey player 4 years ago, but in hockey, you play for the name on the back of your jersey, and I owe so much to my family, my grandparents. I know my Grammy's been watching, and she's been rooting hard for this for the last 3 years, so hi, Grammy. My grandparents on my mom's side as well for all their support. My brothers, they push me harder, and they give me crap, and they keep me in line, but I love them for it, and the 4 of us slept in the same room growing up, and I hated it at the time, but I'm so glad it happened, and we're so closer than you can ever imagine. My mom, she's a role model. She went to Stanford. She, like I said, hits it 250 off the tee on a string. She's the nicest woman you'll ever meet, unless you throw a club. Then just don't even mess with it. And my dad, he's Daddy Caddy. He couldn't be here tonight, but he's with my brothers. He taught me how to love the game of golf, which is just one of the greatest gifts I've ever been given. He's a role model for life, hard work, integrity, character, and passion for life in the game of golf. So thanks, Dad. And finally, the Hogan Award represents what I love about the game of golf. It's Ben Hogan's drive to improve is something that is absolutely amazing. It struck me first when I walked through the Hogan room, when I saw at Shady Oaks the clubs that he would grind down to be exactly what he wanted, everything he could try and do with ribbing in the grips, with different putters, just that edge to try and get to be the best player he could be. And to me, one of the most rewarding things in life is to try and get better at something. And it's just incredible the way Mr. Hogan did that in spite of a ton of adversity. And so that's really special to me. And finally, that golf is the ultimate meritocracy. You're the only one that hits the ball. It's your fault it went in the water, but you can also rejoice in the successes. But it's not, thanks to a huge team that have helped me get here. So I owe one to my teammates. Every single one of you guys has made me better. You've kept me humble, and it's been fantastic. I've loved every minute of Stanford golf. So I'm honored, excited, humbled, and challenged to represent this award and everything it represents. And my parents always told me to whom much is given, much is expected, and I will do my absolute best to uphold this award with honor. So thank you.
At this time, our tournament chairman, Rob Hood, has a special presentation.
Congratulations, Maverick. On behalf of the membership of Colonial Country Club, our title sponsor, Dean and DeLuca, I'm very pleased to present to you the very first invitation to the 2018 Dean and DeLuca Invitational. We want you back for your 7th trip to Fort Worth.
Okay, we'll see y'all in 2018. Good job. Good job. Good job.
You go in the middle. Yeah, you're the boss here. I'm secondary this year. I hope I put the right name tag on that.
I'll check.
Yeah, I did.
You said some nice words. Thank you very much. That's nice of you to say this to him. I know y'all compete so much.
We gotta go over there.